In part two of this orientation video, I'm going to walk you through all of the resources that are available to you in Cengage now and give you some examples of what you're going to see in terms of your lecture assignments and your homework assignments, and also these practice sets that I've created for you. So when you log into Cengage now and you go to the Assignments tab, it is always going to default to assignments I can take now. So any assignment that available to you would be showing. If you want to see all of the assignments that you have this semester, when they are due, the number of attempts that you have, all of that information can be found by clicking on All Assignments. Under the link Assignments I Can Practice Now is where you're going to find a practice set that I've created for every chapter that we're going to be covering this semester. These are not graded, they're purely there for you to practice material. So there's several questions in each one of those practice sets. You do not have to answer each question. You can go in there and answer one question, 5 questions. You can check your work an unlimited amount of times. And then when you submit the assignment, you can go in and see the correct answers and the feedback for any question that you've attempted. And then when you take the assignment again, all of those questions that are in each practice set will regenerate with new numbers. So again, if there was only 5 questions you wanted to take, you could take those 5 questions over and over and over again. So there's kind of an unlimited amount of practice that you can find there. Over here under the Grades tab, that's where you're going to find your grades for all of your lecture assignments, homework assignments, and exams. I strongly recommend that after you submit an assignment, go in here, click on the grades, and click on your grade for that homework assignment. That will open the assignment back up for you. It will show you the answers that you have entered. It will show you the correct answers, and it will provide you feedback on how to arrive at the correct answers, especially if there's any calculation that is involved. It will give you that formula. So this is a great way to find where you've made your mistakes. The best thing that we can do is learn from our mistakes. So make sure you do that. Make sure you review those areas where you had some difficulty before you go ahead and take an exam. Under study tools, you are going to find a wide variety of study tools that are available to you. You will find the link to the ebook, and you will also find the adaptive study plan. So if you've never used the ebook before, or you've never used an ebook before, this one's wonderful. It's very interactive. So by clicking on that home button, it brings you to the chapter, the table of contents. You can choose a chapter that you want to work on. Over here, you can click on chapter contents, and it's going to show you all of the contents contained in that chapter broken down by learning objective. And they're all links, so you can click on anything and it's going to bring up that section of the textbook. Anything that's highlighted and underlined, if you click on it, it will give you the definition. You can actually highlight in the ebook, and you can choose different colors to highlight in. You can highlight something and add a note, and it will give you a little sticky note. You can write important and hit save, and it's going to save it to the exact section where you had that sticky note. You can also have certain areas of the textbook read to you. So by clicking on that, you can click read text. You can add a flashcard if you'd like on that material. If you want the entire page read to you, you can click on this icon over here. It will read the entire page. You can increase or decrease the size of the font. You can bookmark the page, and you can print out pages of the ebook. Anything that you have highlighted or taken notes in, you can find all of those by clicking on that little highlighter icon on the right-hand side called My Notes. So it will show you the date that you made that highlighter note. It will show you the chapter that is in, and it will give you a blue arrow. And if you click on that blue arrow, it's going to bring you to the exact section of that ebook where that highlight or that note was. You can also print out your notes if you want to study from them. There are flashcards that have already been created for you for every chapter, so you can flip the card and get the definition. You can hide the card. You can shuffle the deck. You can create your own card. You can do pretty much anything in here. There's also a glossary. There's a dictionary, and you can change the speed and the voice of the reader. So if you want it to be a little slower in terms of the textbook reader, you can slow it down. You can change it from a male to a female voice, all done over here. And again, by clicking back on that home screen icon, that will get you back to the table of contents. Under Adaptive Study Plan is where you'll find a bunch of resources that are available to you for each chapter. So you click on Start Studying, and what you'll see is you'll see the learning objectives for the chapter. So if you click on any of the learning objectives, below will show you learning objective specific resources. So the specific section of the textbook where that topic is covered, the Tell Me More videos, these are the videos that are contained in your lecture assignment. So if you want to watch them again, you can find them here. The Show Me How videos, which are also embedded in several of your homework assignments. If you want to watch these again before taking an exam, you can find them all in the study tools. And there's some additional practice that Cengage has as well. So these are separate from the practice sets that I've created for you, but it gives you some additional practice. The concept clips kind of basically put the concept that's being learned in more of a business setting, so you can see how that concept would really be used in the real world. Also up here, you can click on Take a Quiz. It's a multiple choice quiz by learning objective. This is nothing that gets graded for the class. It's purely there to help you do well in the course. So you can take the quiz and it will give you a grade per learning objective. So let's say that you answered all of the questions associated with learning objective 1 correct. That would change this radio button to green and also change this first icon bar up top to green, meaning that you have passed that learning objective. Any learning objective that you haven't passed, it will give you an adaptive study plan. So it will suggest items that they think you should take a look at to help you better understand that learning objective. It will be grayed out until you've actually watched it or completed that. So it will turn blue once you've completed it. And then you can take the quiz again. And again, all of your progress will be tracked across here in the progress bar. And every time you pass a learning objective, those radio buttons beside the learning objective will turn green as well. So getting back into our assignments, as I mentioned before, we have 2 types of assignments. You have lecture assignments and homework assignments. Again, lecture assignments are short videos that are covering specific learning objectives in the chapter, and then there's questions associated with those videos that you have to answer. So you'll see that there's a link for the videos for each one that you're going to be doing. And then there's questions that you have to answer. At the bottom, it tells you how many times you're allowed to check your work. For lecture assignments, you're allowed to check your work 1 time per question. So that means in this case, there's 5 questions in this assignment. So each one of these 5 questions, you're allowed to check your work once. You can also save your progress at any time and come back and submit it later. However, please remember if you've saved and exited out to come back and actually submit the assignment for grading by the due date and time. If you don't submit the assignment for grading by the due date and time, Cengage will not submit it for you, and any assignment that's not submitted to me does not count for a grade for you in this class. So please make sure you do that. Once you've gone through a lecture assignment, you will do a homework assignment that will cover those learning objectives, and you'll be applying the concepts that you have learned in those lecture assignments. So what you'll see at the top is some resources. So you have the ebook. This will bring you to the exact section of the ebook where this topic is covered. You have those Show Me How videos that I just showed you in the study tool section. They're also embedded into several of the homework questions that you have to do. So you can watch this video and it's going to show you how to solve a question that's similar to the problem that you're working on. You have a calculator, and you also can print out the item if you'd like to do it out by hand first. You'll see here that they have different tabs. You can actually resize the screen so that you have all the information side by side while you're working on the assignment. All of your homework assignments, you're allowed to check your work 3 times per question. Again, you have that save and exit feature, but please make sure you submit it for grading. And you also have buttons and all of your assignments to email the instructor. So what this does is that it takes a screenshot of the entire question that you're working on, even though if it might have multiple panels, it takes a screenshot of everything. And then it gives you an email box to send me an email. So you can send me an email, ask your question. When I respond to this, it's going to go back to whatever email address you log into Cengage Now with. So if that's a personal email, please make sure that you check your spam folder if you haven't heard from me within about 24 hours, because a lot of times personal email addresses assume that it's spam or junk and kicks it into that folder and you might not see it. So just check there first. As I mentioned, each chapter has a practice set that I have created. You'll notice that it's indicated by being not graded. So this is purely, again, there for your practice. You do not have to answer all of the questions that are in the practice set. So when you log in, for example, in chapter 2, you'll see that there are 20 questions. You don't have to do all 20. So if you really just wanted to focus on question number 9, for example, you can go in here, answer the questions. You can check your work an unlimited amount of times. However, no matter how many times you click check my work, it will not give you the correct answer. So if you want to get to the correct answer, you have to submit the assignment. It's going to give you this warning box to say you haven't finished all those questions. Are you sure you want to submit it? You can click submit for grading because, again, it's not graded. It will then say view assignment results. So you can click on that. You can see the correct answers for the questions you've attempted. You can see that feedback. And then again, when you go to take the assignment again, if you just want to do question number 9 over, all that information in question number 9 has changed from the previous attempt. So again, there's an unlimited amount of practice that you can do in these practice sets that I've created for you. Cengage Now is a wonderful resource, but only if you use it. So please make sure you're taking advantage of all these resources available to you. If you have any questions, please get in touch with me, and I look forward to working with all of you this semester.